And welcome back to sportsbookreview.com. Natalie Van Rydstrom here, and we've got Team Bankroll, Premier League punters here delivering them match day or week 12, plays, and got some interesting fixtures, including, and we're going to wait right till the very end there, the Manchester Derby. Very exciting indeed. A big thank you to everybody who has joined us live, because we have got a Champions League fixture, so I do understand if we take second place of that, because yes, I understand. All right, but introducing Flash, introducing Big Man here. No rest today, but we've got the two key people on here. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, Natalie. How are you?
Very good, very good. Tough couple of weeks. There's a few teams bouncing back, the likes of Tottenham, even Manchester United, shall I dare say it. There's a fixture, obviously, with Southampton. We know Southampton is your team there, Flash, but they're still not doing very well.
No, they're doing worse than that, in fact. Obviously, everyone's now calling for Mark Hughes' head. I just think that I go back to the buying of players, the recruitment. I don't think they got the right players in the summer that they actually needed. And they're paying for that. So I still think they're going to be okay, because I think there's worse teams in the league. And also, you know that they've got the spending power to go out and do something about it come January. So, listen, I don't think they'll be they won't go down, but it's going to be a painful year.
Yeah, it is. And do you not have to say, I don't know how you guys got on, there's a lot of poor teams playing each other this week, where, you know, whether you could like cut them with a knife, they're just underperforming, they're hit or miss. Big Man, did you find this slate particularly difficult? Sometimes if I find it difficult, I actually do really well. It's like the opposite. How did you do this week?
No, I actually really like the card. I'm very happy with it. I think there's some great prices. I think we have another terrific spot for another team. I'm very happy last week with the banker I gave out on Leicester. I thought it was a play that had to be made. We have a very similar situation back home this week. I like the card. I have a lot of underdogs that I like. So as Flash has Buddy there on his lap, I'm going to be giving out plenty of dogs to go with that one.
Plenty of dogs. Cool.
Just let me say that. Just let me tell people the reason why Bud's on my lap is because it's November the 7th, and people are now starting to shoot their fireworks up in the air. And obviously, as we all know, dogs absolutely hate the fireworks. So I'm just comforting him.
Oh,
he's comforting me as well.
he looks a little bit...
He looks quite sad. I feel like I can tell.
Yeah, he's shaking. Honestly, he's shaking.
Oh.
He's shaking as if he's had his last tenner on one of my tips. Honestly, he's like that. No, don't do it. So he's going to pick them tonight.
My last tenner down the drain.
He might do a better job than you do.
Hey, well, I had a bad week last week, and yet I still picked up Huddersfield and Man United and Everton -1. So for a bad week, I didn't do too bad, because I had 4 bets on Liverpool, and I thought they were absolutely robbed.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness, you went hard and heavy, didn't you, on that Liverpool? All eggs in one basket sometimes is not the way to go.
But the thing is, this is another thing that people have got to understand is we do our selections on a Wednesday. And Fabinho, who played in a Liverpool shirt, he was actually Arsenal's best player, to the extent that if you watched him, he went and hid. And also, if you watched Emery's tactics, he set traps for Liverpool to pass the ball to him so that they could then nick it. And that's why Arsenal dominated the midfield. It's because he kept giving the ball away in bad areas. And Arsenal, and listen, I think we've got to start giving them a little bit more, or I've got to give them a little bit more respect, because even though Liverpool had a bad day, Arsenal did well, and they probably did deserve a draw. Although I think if the goal was allowed, which should have been allowed in Mane, I think they would have gone on 1 comfortably.
Yeah. Well, we'll get obviously to there's a few games, teams actually. It'll be interesting to hear people's thoughts on this one. Paul Blakesy as well. I'm on Bournemouth. Seems like a great price. Looking forward to getting to that match as well. All right, so going to start off Cardiff versus Brighton. Saturday's matches here. Cardiff 2.5, Brighton 3.1, draw 3.1 as well. Those odds with 10bet, 19th and 12th respectively. Again, hit or miss teams, but Brighton's luck seems to be on the up after 3 back-to-back wins. They did obviously lose to Everton over the weekend 3-1. Hopefully they'll want to bounce back from that. Definitely leaning towards Brighton. I think I'm going to stick with leans on this match. Possibly unders, under 2.5 goals, both teams to score no, something like that. Start us off here, Flash.
I really like this. This is one of my strongest bets of the whole week, and I couldn't believe the price. I mean, you look and you think both teams are going to turn up and think they can get the 3 points. There's a massive positive straight away that no one's going to be cagey. I couldn't believe that just both teams to score, not over, not under, just both teams to score was 2. And I just think that neither will keep a clean sheet. I wouldn't like to pick the winner. I mean, I think the draws a play as well. But both teams to score, I think that's a really strong play at 2.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely was leaning towards the both teams to score no. Big man. I think 2 is a good price for both teams to score no, considering the likelihood of it.
You know, I find with this breakdown, what we're hearing is a lot of different bets. And that's the concern. It's a pass for me.
Yeah.
Cardiff, I think, are at least scrappy. I mean, they're not just terrible like Fulham or Huddersfield. They're at least scrappy. I thought last week they actually did a pretty decent job against Leicester, but it's hard to overcome some of the things that Leicester were playing for. And, you know, you had to expect Cardiff was actually decent. I'm passing on this game. No opinion.
Yeah. Well, to quote Russ as well, no play. Any one of these 3 results are feasible. Slightly into Brighton win, but not strong enough for an official play. That's exactly how I feel as well. But we've got one official play, and that comes from Flash, both teams to score. Huddersfield versus West Ham. West Ham 2.3, draw 3.3, Huddersfield 3.5, 13th and 18th respectively. Both teams struggling with their recent form. Now, Russ does say West Ham win, much better team on the back of a good team performance versus Burnley. Still, Huddersfield have the home advantage. I'm not confident enough to lay the West Ham price here. How do you feel about this match, big man?
I really like this match. I'm all over West Ham United. I like what we saw last week out of Arnautovic. He had a goal. Javier Hernandez have a few goals. Chicharito. So yeah, I'm liking them here. Look, Huddersfield are to me the worst team in this league. I'm not going to keep delving into that. They've only scored 5 goals on the bounce this year. They seem to make any defense look good. I don't think they have much talent up front. I'm going to go with a nice price here. Anytime I can get a team against Huddersfield at plus money, I'm interested. West Ham United 2.3 beat Huddersfield.
Yeah, and that's what Jack L says as well. Anytime you can fade Huddersfield at better odds than even, get on it. All right, so there we go. Big man has spoken on the West Ham win here. Russ is on the West Ham win. Are you on the West Ham win too, Flash?
Yeah, 100%. I was on Huddersfield the other night to beat Fulham, and I watched them really closely. And that's probably the 4th or 5th time I've watched them closely. They do not get players in the box. They have one player in the box. I think they've had just as many more crosses than nearly any team in the league. And yet they're just putting them in there where the player's up 4 against 1. They've not got enough about them. Meunier, I told you all last year, after 2 games, he'd scored like 3 goals. I told you, all the scouts I spoke to said he's too bob. He's no good. I don't think he's scored since like November last year. And the other lad that comes on, Lepotre, no, he's not good enough neither. They do not get enough players in the box. And West Ham at 2.3, it's going to be part of my parlay. It's that strong.
Wow. All right, then. So West Ham, it is full house, 2.3, those odds with 10 bet. All right, Leicester versus Burnley now. Leicester 1.5, draw 4.2, and Burnley 7.5, those odds with 10 bet. We do have a special promo code, SBR10bet, SBR10bet UK for new signups. Any information, do let me know on my Twitter inbox there. Leicester, obviously, a cool 1-0 win there at Cardiff. Gray scoring in the 55th minute. I was expecting more of a convincing win. 1.5, though, against a struggling Burnley side. Maybe good for an ACCA. Would you put that as part of an ACCA bet, or do you think that's too low for a Leicester side that just beat Cardiff 1-0, Flash?
No, I'm all over Burnley here. I've got 2 plays. I spoke to some friends of mine who are associated with West Ham, and they said that the scoreline flattered West Ham last week, and Burnley missed chances that Burnley last year wouldn't have missed. So I mean, I've got to go with Burnley. Burnley at 7.5 is one of the plays, but my my whole banker of the week is Burnley double chance at 2.65.
Yeah.
I'll have Burnley in the draw. Also, let's take into the factor of normally you have like a bounce back Leicester. Leicester boys, they've all been to Thailand this week. They've all been obviously away from the training ground. They've been to a funeral. They've travelled back. And I just think that the prices that you're getting on Burnley against the possibility of a somber atmosphere. I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be like fireworks. I think the worst team you'd want to come here would be Burnley.
Okay, and you don't think? Oh, you know, obviously it's their first home match since their boss's death. There, do you think? I don't know. Is it difficult to play? Well, obviously you're going for the outrights there, but do you think it's difficult to play the outright in this match here, big man?
No, it is not. I actually I'm quite, and I want to make this very clear. What a sad, just terrible incident here. I actually, as a bettor, though, lick my chops at spots like this. This is an absolutely fantastic play. I'm not sure what Flash and his cohorts are watching. Burnley had 3 shots on goal. Give it up. Give it a break, Flash. They had 37% possession. They were not good at all. And the 2 goals they got were solid, but they weren't up on the right foot, as you said. Leicester, you can't look at stats in this game. It doesn't matter. You throw stats out. Flash, you know better than anyone. You play off adrenaline. It doesn't matter when you're tired. You think military people aren't tired? You think certain people aren't tired? This is a game where you throw all that stuff out. You play because you have pride and you care about the town you're in. And I think it's clear that over the last 2 weeks, they've developed and shown that they all love this town and this club. And this is a spot where the fans will be out. It'll be a sellout crowd. As I said last week, and it came true, professionals generally lament and love these situations. They don't, come out soft. They don't come out weak. They come out and generally get the job done. I'm actually going to go not only just -1, I'm going to lay the 1.5 at 2.35. Burnley are the second worst defensive team in this league. And if not for Huddersfield, Fulham, and Cardiff, they would go down. Luckily, they're not going to because those teams are just really horrendous. Last 5 defeats for Burnley, 4 have come by 2 or more goals. This team, when they get beat, they get beat. They get drubbed. I'll lay the 1.5 here. I think Leicester win 3-0.
Wow. Speaking with confidence there, big man. Leicester -1.5. I'm taking the Leicester bet, and I'm combining it with the under 4.5 goals. Often Burnley can keep things tied. If you're going for 3-0 there, we should see the under 4.5 goals. So 1.75. It's also quite tempting just on the under 2.5 goals. But how the Leicester boys take to the pitch on Saturday, I'll have to wait and see. But I'm not predicting any more than 5 goals. Leicester in the under 4.5 goals or 1.75. Next, we're coming now to the match Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth 2.6, Newcastle 2.8, and draw 3.5. I'm going to start with you, Flash, because you've sort of flown Newcastle's flag a few times. They have the home advantage, but Bournemouth are having a really good season. Obviously, granted, they come from the Manchester United loss, but it's not bad to lose against Manchester United. Yes, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one, Flash.
Well, it's an official no play. It's official pass. And the reason is because Newcastle won the last game 1-0, totally against the run of play. Watford absolutely battered them. I couldn't say that both teams would to score. I couldn't say that both teams won't score. And I mean, that's where I wanted to go. But you just can't rely on them. Just because they've got a result. They got a result, actually, when they probably didn't deserve one. So I think they're 2.7 at home.
2.8.
I think that 2.8 that tells you everything. They're not expecting them to get a home win, So I've got to leave the game alone, even though I'd like to be with them. But they've let me down too many times. They don't score enough goals. So even though you'd hope if they go and win this week, we might see a new Newcastle,
Yeah, that's what I'm worried as well. I was looking at the both teams to score bet, but Newcastle have only scored in 2 of their last 5 matches. What do you like here? So it's an official no play from Flash. What do you like here, big man?
I like Bournemouth. I really like Bournemouth this week, actually. They're one of my favorite bets on the card. Newcastle aren't any good. I don't care. They won last week. They've only scored 7 goals. As Flash detailed correctly, they were getting battered in that game. They had no business winning it. I'm going to make a stoic prediction here. It would not surprise me if Bournemouth continue to move up the table and flirt with top 5. This top 5 this year is solid. We all know United have their issues. Well, keep laughing, Flash. I mean, you can laugh all you want, but there's no secret that they're 6th in the table right now. Arsenal are. What's so funny, Flash? I mean, explain.
I don't see them being in the top 10.
Okay, well, you didn't see Everton. Well, you didn't see Everton in the top 10 last year, and you also said that.
I did, didn't I? I said that they'd be outside the 8. I said I didn't see them in the top 7, did I? What were they, 8th?
Well, I mean, again, there are 6th right now, Flash, and Arsenal and Tottenham are.
I know, but I'm not happy. I'm happy. I'm happy to go on record and say that I don't see him being in the top 10.
Sure. That's fine, and I'm willing whatever amount you want to bet on that. I'd be gladly interested if you want to do that.
Tramp let's get to paid this again, big man. That tramp's getting paid.
Okay. Well, if you're interested, let me know. 2.7 though for Bournemouth, 2.67. Sorry for Bournemouth. Too much to pass up. The absolutely unreal job Eddie Howe has done in the last 10 years at Bournemouth. It's not only elite as far as European, but why isn't Bournemouth more known in the world? What he has done to this club is unbelievable, and he's one of the great managers no one talks about. Bournemouth beats Newcastle, and they keep playing well and keep riding up the table.
Yeah.
And just as a lot of people don't realise is that he actually was the one that started Burnley on their journey as well. He was manager at Burnley prior to going back to Bournemouth. And also in this country, he's always been tipped to either be a future England manager, or they thought that he was going to be the successor to Arsene Wenger. So, I mean, he's not without his fans in this country. I mean, obviously I played with him, and he's done great.
Yeah. The other one as well. I'm going to play a Bournemouth draw no bet. In this one, 1.83. I also like as well both teams to score bet. Although I'm nervous about it, I think Newcastle at home, they should get a goal in. And both teams to score. And I like Bournemouth draw no bet as well. I missed. Russ's bet is Bournemouth to win. He says Bournemouth are a good side. Newcastle won, but road luck first half, confidence up. Bournemouth win there. And then he did have a bet as well. He's going Leicester win and both teams to score at 3.5. We were on Leicester last week. They will win again, he says there. Draw no bets 1.83. Okay, Southampton versus Watford now. So Saints 2.5, Watford 3.1, draw 3.3. Those odds with 10 bets, 16th and 8th. These two teams sort of hit or miss teams, and I think the slightly more miss would be Southampton, but they do have the home advantage. I'm wondering whether this is something that could cancel each other out. I think that the outrights could be a sort of like a tempting carrot that we shouldn't take. Start us off here, Flash, because I know you like Southampton as a team, but they've not been profitable for you lately.
Well, they don't score goals, and if you don't score goals, you're not going to win games. Also, they're not creating. They've obviously they let in 6 last week. All right, fair enough. They're playing Man City, but they were like 4. They let 4 inside the first half. I've got to be with Watford. I mean, I haven't got Watford right all year, but you're giving me 3.1 against a team that absolutely battered Newcastle last week. Now, I know that the league positions say that Newcastle are just as bad and this, that and the other. I've got to go with Watford at 3.1. Why wouldn't you? Against a team that doesn't score.
All right, so then Jack L. Home advantage, Nat. We've won 1 home game in a year, and I was just saying I was trying to, they're at home, aren't they? They're going to win another one at home shortly. I'm sure they're not going to go through the whole year, but I was trying to spin on a nice thing. All right, so you're going for Watford, and I have to say a lot of other people are liking Watford +0 Asian handicaps is Jack L. And then Hussein Dashti says Watford win and the over 2.5 goals, which is quite interesting because I am leaning towards the under in this match as well. Russ is going for both teams to score no at 1.8. That's definitely the way I'm going. What do you like here, big man?
I got to say, I think it's a violation. If you're not here, you don't get to share your tips.
We do this. I've shared your tips before, big man, because they've got to go to our. They've got. It's a violation. But
he's our leader.
It's a violation, but because I have other shows I had to do, he's just not here. I mean, that's I don't know. I think it's whack, but I give Natalie respect for actually doing it. I mean, for putting them out there. Watford 3.1 for me. I don't have to go into my issues on Southampton. I think they suck, and Flash knows that, and I think we all know that. They have one win, as the gentleman said on the chat. Watford for me, 3.1.
All right. Some people like to hear the tips, though. When Flash missed the time last week, when he was unable to make it, everyone was like, could you please post Flash's tips, because they really wanted to see them.
Fair enough.
You have to steer clear of them.
I'm glad to see that we've all got the correct time this week.
Exactly. Good point.
It's like rounding a bunch of schoolboys with you guys.
Here's the thing, Natalie. I want to make this clear. I'm always here. The only reason I wouldn't be here is due to having to do another video or something like that. But I'm always here with bells on.
Yes, you are Flash. It was the man above you that we were questioning the time there. Yeah. No,
sure,
you've got
sure.
8. You've got gold star.
I drove.
You've got gold star, big man. It's Flash that's wearing the dunce's cap today.
You still missed it. Amazing. Why not check? That would be a good idea.
I got in at 6:40. No one told me. I didn't know that you on the other side of the world don't go back with me.
Well,
Clocks,
I don't move at all. Costa Rica doesn't move at all. We just stay the same time the whole year round.
Oh.
Hey, Natalie, it's funny. A surprise to no one. Here's the things you can always expect in life, Natalie. Death, Donald Trump saying something stupid, and John Smith saying something. Yes, that too, and John Smith. I mean, is this guy not the most Homer fan in the history of sports?
Yeah,
I mean, John, we get it.
Loves them.
It's amazing. They could play, Natalie, Brazil, Barcelona, and God's team with his 12 disciples, and he's still like Huddersfield. We get it, John, but it's a little agonizing at this point, bro. I mean, Huddersfield aren't good. Move on. I know you're a fan.
Is he going for Huddersfield against West Ham?
No, listen, Saints always... Flash always generally goes for Saints. He was doing that for a while. If it's your team, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get past the heart.
Southampton have got pedigree.
Poor John Smith. He's chimed in. He's coming and chimed in 23 minutes in, only to get blown out of the water by Big Man.
Because it's always the same.
He's not going to want to ever speak.
Flash and Big Man have the Huddersfield game all wrong. Of course he thinks that. They could play God and his 10 disciples, and John Smith would say we have it all wrong. We get it, John. You're a fan, but you got to take the fanboy hat off sometimes. We're tipsters. That's how it works.
I don't see how they can win. The only thing I give them credit for is the energy that they bring to the game, because the craft and the quality is non-existent. They played against a Fulham side the other night that would have struggled to beat a League 3 side, and they only scored 1 and didn't even look like it's getting a second.
Well,
it was embarrassing.
John Smith says West Ham double chance, a strong chance of a draw. There is always a chance of a draw. I agree with you, John Smith. I will stand with you on this one. Poor guy. He was only just giving his little thoughts there.
Listen, Natalie, we cannot.
I'm a West Ham fan, and I don't trust them to win, says Paul Blakesley.
We cannot.
Yeah, but he's a West Ham fan. I don't know a positive West Ham fan. Honestly,
we can't continue to
from that part of the world are not positive.
We are tipsters. We're not fanboys here. If you're mad because we pick against your side, I'm a tipster, and I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear if I don't agree with it. I have my opinion, you have yours. But the fact is, Huddersfield are not a good football team. They're not. I'm not going to try to say that they are. They aren't. Just like I'm not skinny. I'm not. It's a fact. It's not fantasy. I'm not skinny. I mean, why are we living in these fantasy fanboy worlds? If you're a fan, I get it, but I don't think they're good.
Poor John Smith there sitting. Anyway, moving on. John Smith, let's hope Huddersfield gets something out of the match, even if it's a point. I'm with you, John Smith there. All right. So I'm going Southampton versus Watford in case anybody was interested. I'm going for the under 2.5 goals at 1.79. Saints have only scored 3 at home, and Watford 6 on the road. I think it's going to be a very tight, boring game. There we go. Crystal Palace versus Tottenham now. Tottenham 1.8, draw 3.8, Crystal Palace 4.75. Tottenham's luck seems to have been changing in the Champions League. They have won their first game hosting PSV, and their luck seems to be changing. Maybe a little bit too late for their Champions League endeavour, but I think they're sort of back on the road here to win. The 1.8 price is very tempting indeed. Let's see what. Repeat of what happened. Palace times 2. Oh, I don't know what he's putting. I don't know. What are you going to go for, big man, in this match?
I think you made an interesting point. The price is interesting. It really is, isn't it? I mean, it's a London derby, as they say. Both these teams in London. And look, I think the price is sexy on Tottenham. I mean, you don't have to lay much. It should be an easy win, but it just seems a little uneasy. I don't trust Crystal Palace, though. They depend a ton on Zaha. They've just been super unlucky over the last year or so. It might be a square, play, but I'm going to take Spurs 1.8.
Yeah, I agree with you. And who do I say there? Jack L, Spurs win. Sometimes I really feel like Jack L and me have a lot of the same bets here. Spurs win and both teams to score at what Alex likes to say, the beautiful odds of 3.55. I think it's going to be a very entertaining match here. Both teams to score 1.71. Flash, I know you've been going for those higher odds this season, taking a chance, and that's been paying off for you. Are you going to up the ante on the Spurs win? Or dare I say, go for Crystal Palace?
I don't think Spurs do win, and the reason because I don't think that the centre backs will be playing. I'm not having Aurier at right back. I just can't trust them. And sooner or later, Crystal Palace are going to get a rub of the green. I thought they were decent last week against Chelsea in stages. They have a threat, and I just can't pick this. I really can't. I thought both teams probably to score, and maybe the 1-1 draw. It's a tough place to go, Palace. And if they get their noses in front, it's horrible, And also, you imagine the effort that the Tottenham boys have just put in the last 2 games. I mean, they tired against Wolves, 3-0 up. Foot came up off the gas, or Wolves came back into it.
Yeah.
And the people say about Wolves, no one mentioned that the goal that got disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed. It should have been like a 3-3 draw, or the game's a different game if the referees or linesmen just do their jobs. I've got to leave this game well alone.
All right, leaving it alone. I do like the both teams to score play, and you're just on the straight Tottenham win. That's right, big man.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I like it too. Interesting. All right, 2 more matches, I believe, to get through. Liverpool versus Fulham now. Liverpool 1.1, draw 11, Fulham 23. I know Liverpool are in a lot of people's naughty corner. They've probably let a few down a few accas, lost a few bets from their performance yesterday. But we have seen on times like this, we saw with Man City, they bounce back. And is this a match that they will be bouncing back, hosting bottom of the league, Fulham? How will they bounce back, big man? Because I'm expecting a comfortable bounce back.
Yeah, you gotta laugh sometimes at bettors. I mean, God forbid they lose a game. I mean, which they pretty much never do.
Liverpool are rubbish. We hate Liverpool.
Yeah,
it was just like, come on, they're not too bad. I
mean, they had 72% possession. They had 23 shots. It was just a bad game. They didn't play well. It happens. They're off a tough game at Arsenal. But this game is interesting because you're facing a Fulham team that's not good. You can literally. I mean, they're going down. I mean, I don't think they're going to stay up. I mean, Fulham can't keep goals out. They got to travel up to Liverpool. Pretty long trip, as you guys know. Liverpool should shred Fulham, but there's not a ton of value. Right now, Liverpool are on a 2-game streak where they haven't won a game. They'll win here comfortably, but I can't find much value here on the game, so it's a pass for me.
Yeah. I liked, because especially you said they can't keep goals out. Fulham, 29 conceded, the most in the Premier League this season. Liverpool minus 2.5 there. Win by 3 goals, 1.84. I like that bet quite a bit. What do you like there, Flash?
Liverpool to win to 0, 1.85. I don't think Fulham will even get out of their own half. I was really disappointed in Fulham the other night. Everyone knows that the manager's probably on last leg saloon. I just can't. I can't work out how Fulham are going to have a threat. I expect probably a few changes. I expect Shaqiri will probably come in. The other thing I would say is that I think the best player so far in this Liverpool side has been James Milner, obviously outside of the back four. And he gave the ball away more times last night than he will do in 10 games. And the type of professional he is, that's not going to happen. I just see Liverpool completely dominating this game. And it could be anything from 1-0 to 4-0 for all I care. But as long as it says Fulham nil, does Liverpool win?
Yeah, Liverpool win to nil as well. That's Russ's bet. Big man, you're passing. You like that Liverpool win to nil. Why are you not on that one this week?
Yeah, I guess I kind of needed some selling, and now that I see it, and you think about it, I mean, I kind of thinking in my head right now, if I can make a bet where Liverpool has 70% or more possession, I would do it. So therefore, win the nil should come in. You know what? I'll get on Flash's side here. I wasn't going to bet this one, but it does make a lot of sense. I'll go with it as well. Win the nil at 1.8.
Yeah. All right. All right, nice one. Okay, Chelsea versus Everton now. Chelsea 1.4, draw 5.1, Everton 8.5. Must win, obviously, for Chelsea, 2 points below Man City. They do have a Europa League match today against Batia Borisov. Obviously, Premier League will be their most... Tomorrow, sorry, yes. But Premier League, obviously, I'm going to guess is where they've got their eye on, just being a couple of points there behind Man City. They won't want to lose that difference there. I think goals are on the cards in this match. Big man, did you preview the? Did you guys have a tip today from your Europa League show with Alex? Did you have a tip on the match?
Yeah, we put Chelsea in, and we usually do a parlay bet of some sort, and we put Chelsea in. Bate are better at home, and I'm sure they'll give a good effort, but Chelsea are just on another level. As far as in this game as well, I think they're on another level. They're better than Everton, but I think Everton could contribute. Yeah. Chelsea's gone over in 6 straight matches. Everton's gone over in 4 or 5 in this league. For me, I'm going to go over 2.5 in both teams to score at 2.1. Seems like every game Chelsea plays is 3-1. I'm going to say this is at least 2-1. I considered Everton at 8.5, but I've made the mistake of doing this before, and it doesn't come in. I think Everton are pretty solid. They could probably hang in this game. I'll say it's 2-1. I'll go both teams scoring over 2.5 at 2.1.
Very nice indeed. Yes, I was going to see both of these teams see a lot of goals. Last 5 Chelsea matches have seen over 4 goals. 3 of 5 Everton's matches have gone over 2.5 goals. So yes, it should be a fun and entertaining fixture. Do you agree with that, Flash? Is there goals on the card?
I'll take the words that you said, should. I'm actually passing on this game because, yes, it looks too obvious that both teams have scored. It looks like maybe a Chelsea 3-2, 2-1. I've said all season, I don't think Chelsea keep clean sheets because of their back four. And you know that Everton have got players who can create and they have got a bit of pace. And they're all the things that Chelsea don't really like, as it was shown last week against Crystal Palace. But my official play is no play.
No play. All right, interesting stuff. What is?
Hey, Nat.
Yes.
I wanted to just ask Flash, or maybe just kind of comment on this. I see a lot of times when we do Premier League punters, I always see a lot of people comment on it's a tough trip from Belarus or wherever. I think we need to dispel of that because I really don't think it has much to do. I mean, we have to remember these are not players that are on some rickety bus or a train. They're on probably the nicest jets in the world. They can sleep. They have everyone there to take care of everything. And let's be real. I mean, does anyone really play for Chelsea tomorrow? That's going to play on Sunday? I think, and I'm sure Flash can comment. I know he didn't play in this day and age.
Yeah, we did. We played in Europe, but a little bit different.
Nowadays, they have these.
Well, maybe
Emirates
Flash can
jets.
answer is, are they tough trips? When they say tough trip, how is the like? Maybe it's an early start in the morning. Maybe it's like traveling is never good.
Well, this is the other thing. There's 2 options here. You play obviously on the Thursday evening, and you either leave on the Friday morning, and then you might train for an hour Friday night, or you won't train. And then obviously you can't do too much on the Saturday prior to. So it's almost as if you're going from game, no training, to the game. It's almost like when, like in an NFL, when they say they've got a short week, and 9 times out of 10, it's not normally good for most teams. It's a little bit like that. But as Big Man said, and I've got to concur, they get on their own private jet. So, and they're all got their own seats. So it's almost like they're not like in economy class where they're all like this, Listen, it is what it is.
Chickens traveling around Central America, like.
But it's also a well-known fact that if you play on a Thursday night in this Europa League, as the season gets on, it does affect your Premier League campaign, and that's fact. I can't remember the last team that done well in the Premier League on the back of a decent, because they know that they're going to get into the Champions League, so they can't rubbish it off. If they do well in the Europa League and go and win it, they get in the Champions League. So for someone like Chelsea, who are not guaranteed top 4, even though they're looking really strong, remember you've got the likes of Tottenham could well be joining them. Well, you watch Tottenham. Tottenham's squad's not big enough to handle a long Europa League campaign and a Premier League campaign. Yeah. It's not strong enough.
Paul Blakesley said that he worked at West Ham and travelled with the team in Europe. He goes after the game finished and travelled back straight after, got home at 6 a.m. Friday. It is tough. There we go.
When were West Ham in Europe?
Interesting conversation.
West Ham in Europe. That would have been like a 5-day ferry ride or something, wouldn't it? When was the last time West Ham were in Europe?
Ask Paul. Paul is watching.
I can actually get that for you.
He knows I'm only playing.
They were last in Europa. They were actually in Europa League recently, 2015, 16, 17.
There you
How'd
go.
they get into that?
This was a fun conversation, but we must, alas, get back. Team Bankroll has a time slot. And I think it's the Audible, starts in 20 minutes, guys. So tune in for that, I believe. Arsenal versus Wolves now. Arsenal 1.62, draw 4.2, and Wolves 6. I have to say, massive kudos go for Arsenal here. Everyone expected them to stump when they played against Liverpool. They drew 1-1. And considering they're playing a stumbling Wolves side, I think it's 3 losses in a row now. Really, the ACCA of Arsenal should be in an ACCA bet for sure, 1.62, and possibly combined with the over 1.5 goals or the under 4.5 goals. But I don't see any other result than an Arsenal win here. Big Man, I know we've had our sort of, loves and hates almost with Arsenal. Last season, definitely more of a sort of a dislike. But they seem to be pulling through for us and making us money this season. So what's your bet for this match?
Yeah, I want to make it very clear. I didn't like the Arsene Wenger Arsenal. I absolutely adore the Unai Emery Arsenal. I'm actually almost becoming a fan of this team. I love their group. I really do. I think Lacazette is one of the best strikers no one talks about. I think defensively with Xhaka back into the midfield, Torreira is a player that they've desperately needed for a long time. Bellerin's playing well. Kolasinac is back. Holding was very good last week. Mustafi did well. Leno in goal. I really like them. I'm going Arsenal win to 0.
Oof.
I don't like Wolves. They're not playing well right now. They just aren't. I think the price you're getting, 2.9 on Arsenal to win to 0. They generally dispatch kind of teams. They haven't lost in a long time. I think they win, and I think they can keep a clean sheet. When their defense has those 4 at the back, I think they're pretty good with Torreira in that defensive midfielder role. I like them win the 0 here.
Wow. Well, our resident Wolves, Arsenal fan here, Russ is going for Arsenal to win and both teams to score at 3. They have often been called upon their lack of defense, but they have kept some clean sheets this season.
Yeah, that's been with injuries. Kolasinac hasn't been involved. Bellerin was injured. Xhaka was playing left back. So again, that they're back to normal. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, I'm going Arsenal the under 4.5 goals at 2.05. I don't want to bet on whether Wolves will score or not. What are you going for in Flash in this match?
No, I'm leaving it alone, but I think that's quite a risky one as well, because if Arsenal get their head of steam up, they're as capable as Man City at scoring 6. They are just a machine going forward, and they've got goals from everywhere. If it's a going day. I mean, last week I expected Liverpool, as we're going to keep going on about it, Liverpool to roll them over. It was a going day from the first minute. The crowd were up. I'm just wondering whether it's after the Lord Mayor's show. So I'm going to leave it alone, even though I fully expect Arsenal will win.
Yeah. Arsenal in the over 1.5 goals as well, though. 1.83 if the game gets going.
Well,
could be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a definite. I like that. I mean, I think that's got more value than the under 4.5, because if Arsenal score four goals in 20 minutes if they get going.
All right, you've convinced me, Flash. I'm going to take it. Arsenal in the over 1.5 goals. Right, final game now. We've got to get cracking. Manchester City versus Manchester United. One town, two teams, two big rivals. Man City 1.36, draw 5.5, Manchester United 9. Same city, two different seasons as well. Manchester United, although like as I sort of said earlier on in the show as well, things seem to be turning around for them. It's not as bad to be their fan right now, I have to say. They haven't lost their last 4 matches. They do obviously have their Champions League fixture today against Juventus, which is going to be a tough match. So very interesting. Last 2 meetings have been won on the road, and this fixture, last 2 fixtures, have seen goals. Are we following trend here? Big man, start us off on this big match.
Yeah, I know it's like the big match of the weekend, but I mean, kind of like a dominating team. You know, Manchester City's games aren't that fun because they just beat everyone badly. You know, they're kind of like you know, any dominating team. United suck. I think we all know that. We can obviously try to make excuses that they'll be fine or whatever, but they're not. And City doesn't really leave any doubt ever. I'm going to lay 1.5 goals here. I think they beat up Man United and really kind of put the little sister right now back in its place. Man City wins, I don't know, 3-1. I'll go Man City minus 1.5 at even money.
Wow, that's a confident play, that, okay? John Smith, Manchester Derby is so difficult to call. And then Aurelio says United will give City a hard game. They will fight hard. Jack L. United won at City last year. Paul Blakesley, red card in the match. Odar, both teams to score, too obvious. Lots of thoughts on this match. Man City minus 1.5 is from Big Man. Flash, what do you like?
I like the draw at 5.5, and that's only because no. I think that Big Man could well be. I think he'll probably know his fate by half time. I think that if Man City come out, and I hate Man United at the back. I hate them. Lindelof and Smalling are like 2 nervous kittens. I think they shake more than Bud did when he heard the fireworks. But I'm just hoping, as a fan,
seems like a great
value,
defense against that team.
No, they're awful, man. They're awful.
Yeah.
But I think
Flash,
Mourinho
they're going to get shredded. Those 2.
No, but I think this is where I think Mourinho might play one. I think he might play 2 holding midfielders to protect the back 4. And I think also that they'll sit and get tight and sit in and then try and hit them on the break. So almost have Martial as like a fullback. And I tell you who started this. Nigel Pearson, when Leicester won the league. They basically got everyone in tight, 4 defenders inside the width of the box, and your wingers play as almost like wing backs. And then you have 2 boys that sit in front. It's like an old Christmas tree. And then I don't know who he'll play up front, maybe Rashford for a long ball. I've got to go with a draw at 5.5.
Oof, all right. God, talk about being on different ends. So we've got Big Man, Man City minus 1.5. Russ is on Man United plus 1.5, and you are on the draw. Okay, I'm sure everyone is super confused. I want both teams to score in this one. 1.73. I actually think there's tremendous value in that bet. It could be a 1-1 draw. I do not think if we're going for a draw, it's going to be 0-0, and I'd be hugely disappointed if that were the case. Both teams to score for me 1.73. And I was very surprised by that. Over 2.5 goals is 1.5, which is where I thought the both teams to score bet was going to be, staying away from the outrights. There we go. All right, guys, let's run down our bets now that will be added to our record. I've got Russ's here. It's kind of a bit complicated, the notes. I'll try and run through those. Flash, start us off this week. What do you like? What do you have on your cards?
Okay, West Ham to win at 2.3. Man City, Man United draw at 5.5. Burnley, double chance at 2.65. Burnley at 7.5. Watford, 3.1. Liverpool win to nil, 1.85. And Cardiff, both teams to score at 2.
All right.
My parlay is West Ham to win and Cardiff, both teams to score. And my banker is Burnley double chance at 2.65.
All right. Big man, what the bets and odds that you're going for?
I like West Ham to beat Huddersfield at 2.3. Leicester City minus 1.5, 2.35. Bournemouth 2.67 against Newcastle. Watford 3.1 against Southampton. Tottenham 1.8 against Crystal Palace. Liverpool win to nil 1.8. Both teams to score an over 2.5, 2.1. Chelsea Everton. Arsenal win to nil 2.97. Man City minus 1.5 at even. My banker, Bournemouth 2.67 to beat Newcastle. My 2-team parlay, very simple. Arsenal, Man City, both to win, 2.05.
Nice. All right. I'm going for West Ham, 2.3. I'm going for Leicester in the under 4.5 goals, 1.75. Bournemouth, draw no bet at 1.83, and both teams to score at 1.8, both in the Newcastle-Bournemouth match. I'm going for the under 2.5 goals, Southampton versus Watford. Crystal Palace, Tottenham, both teams to score 1.71. Liverpool minus 2.5 at 1.83. Chelsea in the over 2.5 goals at 1.95. Arsenal in the over 1.5 goals at 1.83. And both teams to score, Man City versus Manchester United, 1.73. I think my banker is going to be the Southampton-Watford under 2.5 goals. And my parlay, I don't know what my parlay is going to be. I think I'm going to do I don't know. I'm going to skip on my parlay for the moment and just keep it as a banker. Oh, Russ's is West Ham win, Leicester win, and both teams to score 3.5. Bournemouth win 2.6. Both teams to score no, Southampton, Watford. I really don't understand what he was writing about with this Crystal Palace Spurs thing. He's going for Liverpool to win to nil, 1.8. Chelsea to win and both teams to score, 2.9. Arsenal to win and both teams to score, 3. Manchester United plus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at 1.89. Liverpool to win to nil is his banker. And the parlay is a win and both teams to score double, which is Spurs and Arsenal. So there we go. Those are team bankrolls bets, which will be added to our diary. Join us same time next week when we run through week. Actually, no, sorry, week. It's a Nations League next week. Nations League next week. It's an international break. So there we go. But big thank you to Flash and Big Man, and I'll see you next week for Nations League.
Thank you.
Cheers, Nat.